this week we're going to do something a little bit special. We are kind of approaching the end of the regular season, and we felt this was probably the best time to get into this. So we're going to introduce the inaugural Second Look Hockey Awards show. So we've shortlisted 10 different awards that we've came up on our own, and we're one by one. We're kind of just going to read an award, and then we're going to give you a little description about what went into the thought process behind that award and like what it entails. And then we're going to kind of all bring up a player or a team depending on the award criteria that we all think fits best with that award. So on that note, I'm going to start us off here. We've got the quote of the year. The criteria for this award is that it's going to be awarded to somebody with the most memorable, hilarious, or powerful quote heard around the hockey world this season. Do you guys want to take it off? Do you guys want to start?
Can kick it off, yeah. I think we were brainstorming in our chat. We were like, there's some ones that come to mind off the dome. And, I really do think there was one guy who was just a quote machine. He's been a quote machine for the majority of his career. But there's some interesting quotes this year from the one and only Elliot Friedman. I'm going to go a little, maybe not off the board is the answer here, but I did some research yesterday, and I came across this one just yesterday. It was from 32 Thoughts, so I must have missed it when this was said live. But it's Elliot Friedman and Kyle Bukauskas talking about when Winnipeg and Washington faced off. This was before the trade deadline. And Elliot's talking about Winnipeg, and this is the direct quote. You know what I want Winnipeg to get? Some mobile beef. Mobile beef is the quote of the year for me from Elliot Friedman, because that's just like, what the hell is mobile beef? Yeah, and you think about it in hockey terms, and you're like, oh, okay, you want a big defenseman who can still somehow move. Even Kyle Bukauskas, there's a long pause after Elliot says this, and he just goes, what? What? It's just one of those hockey terms that I found this year that I'm like, you know what? Just when I thought we've really expanded the hockey dictionary, somebody comes up with a new one. So Elliot Friedman and mobile beef is my quote of the year.
I love it. That's the best. Mando, let me just jump in ahead of you quickly because the quote machine himself, Elliot Friedman, he is popping up on my ballot as well. And I kind of said it in our chat. I was like, I forget now what the quote was. And as soon as like the words left my mouth, Christian knew exactly what I was talking about. So I believe he was on live TV, or was this also from a 32 Thoughts podcast?
I think it might have been 32.
I think 32 Thoughts.
I honestly hope it was too. I hope he didn't go on live TV when Friedge said about the upcoming, it would have been the first Canada-US Four Nations face-off matchup. He said, my nipples are erect just thinking about it. Now, Elliot, what do you mean by that, buddy?
What are we doing?
I must have saw that quote when it happened. I saw that quote, like the quote board itself, no less than 50 times, I think, on Twitter.
The quote board culture makes it so much funnier, right?
Like there's thing.
Quote boards onto themselves have, especially in like sports, have just become memes, right? You take someone's quote out of context, throw it into another situation, and all of a sudden you've got an incredible meme.
Yeah.
That one, that goes right to the top.
We do have one of those quote boards coming up very, very soon.
Great point. That's a very good point.
Mando, what do you got here for us, buddy?
I can't complete the trifecta with Friedman, although I got to give him credit for just being like, insiders sometimes are so serious. He doesn't take himself super seriously, and that's why we get these awesome quotes. I got to go back to, I think it was August of last year, of 2024, which kind of kicked off the season with a bang. Everyone remembers the offer sheet for Doug Armstrong, St. Louis Blues for Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. And then when asked about said offer sheets, because it was so rare, everyone was like, what's the reason behind this? And is it just because it's Kenny Holland? And the full quote, but I'll kind of highlight the best part of it. He says, this is a tool that I think everyone uses and should use. I think it was reported that I wouldn't have done this to Kenny Holland. That's the furthest thing from the truth. Quite honestly, I'd do it to my mother if she was managing the Oilers. So, no, absolutely zero hesitation from the one and only Armstrong there. He was just interviewed by Paul Bissonnette for Spit and Chicklets. He doesn't care at all, and that's why he's the GM of the Blues, who are, I'm sure we'll talk about their success in the coming awards, but awesome. Just down to the point, just grinding it out. You don't hear that kind of like honesty from GMs as often as you do, so I love to hear that.
I do love that one. That is a really good one. I love that we've got some GMs that are kind of no filter.
Yeah.
Like that's a role, that's a mantle that maybe hasn't been filled with the exit of like Brian Burke, right? And he went into media and continued to go no filter, but it's nice when you have someone still on their job kind of just lay it out in crazy terms like that. That was a great quote. It really was. Okay. I'm going to throw this runner-up out there just because Mando went with the Doug Armstrong one, and I have a Dylan Holloway quote that I considered, which, of course, is one of the guys that Doug Armstrong offer-sheeted for. You know what? I don't have the correct context from when this was from. It must have been in one of a post games, and he got hit with a puck, and I think it was a puck to the throat. And in a post-game quote, he said, "As soon as I got hit, I knew something was a little off. But then I saw we had a 2-on-1, so I couldn't pass up that opportunity." That's another one where it's just like, just hockey. That's
whatever
just
you're going to do.
In a sentence right there.
It really is.
Is that a quote from Dylan Holloway or Alex Ovechkin? What the heck is that?
Yeah, honestly. I think Dylan Holloway's coming for the record, bro.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't have any other honorable mentions. Do we want to put our vote through? Like, who do we think has the best quote here?
Guys, I really like both your quotes. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
I really do.
I'll be honest here. I do love my quote, and it kills me every time I see it. But offer shooting your mother that's an all-timer.
It's a really good one
from Doug Armstrong, man.
Okay,
I'm willing to go ahead and we can maybe give the award to Dougie Armstrong.
Let's take that one. Let's give him that one.
Yeah, I like it.
Congrats, Dougie.